shake. Let's shake. Pillow like a. Let's shake. Let's shake. Let's shake. Let's shake. Let's shake. Pillow like a. Let's shake. Let's shake.
In the history of hip hop, there are some fires that never go out. You can bury the career, you can dismantle the label, but that deep-seated on-site energy, that stays forever. And if you needed proof that the beef between G-Unit and Murder Inc. is still breathing, you just had to look at a recent flight manifest. Because when Uncle Murda and the Talk of New York, Tony Yayo, spotted Ja Rule in a pressurized cabin, they didn't see a veteran artist. They saw a target. What we do? That's the question of the hour. In this game, your reputation is your only currency, and G-Unit just tried to bankrupt Ja Rule in first class. The truth bomb here is a classic case of he said, she said logic. Ja Rule hit the internet with a smile, trying to flip the script into a comedy special. He's claiming he took the initiative, launched a pillow straight at Yayo's head, and knocked his hat clean off. To Ja, it was hilarious, a playful jab at his oldest rivals. But you have to look at the chess move logic here. Why the pillow? Because in a space filled with federal sky marshals and cameras, a pillow is the only weapon that doesn't come with a life sentence. But Uncle Murda and Yayo aren't buying the comedy act. Their version of the story is cold, gritty, and strictly G-Unit. They didn't see a prank, they saw a sucker-ass move from a man who knew he was outnumbered. The evidence is in the atmosphere. When the unit stood up, the laughter stopped. According to the Murda camp, Ja Rule didn't stay to enjoy the joke. He caught that flight or fight response and chose flight, exiting the plane before the cabin door even hissed shut. Online, the fans are already deconstructing the play. People are saying Ja Rule got scared and ran, reviving that infamous phrase, getting Ja ruled. Ja is firing back with the old playbook, calling 50 Cent a rat and an abuser, trying to pivot the conversation away from the plane and back to the street ethics. But while Ja is talking about pillow fights, the unit is talking about dominance. They stood their ground at 30,000 feet, shouting sucker ass until the cabin felt like a battleground. It shows that in 50's world, there are no old stories, just ongoing missions. Whether it was a hilarious hit or a desperate retreat, one thing is certain. In the game of G-Unit chess, they just put Ja in checkmate at the boarding gate.
Then here's the real key. Ja, you know how they give you those nice pillows on first class flights? I don't know if y'all know, but they give you nice pillows on Delta First. Ja whips his pillow back. That's the first strike. So Ja strikes first. You feel what I'm saying? Then all three stand up, get ready to scrap. Then the flight attendants ask all three of them to get off the plane. They deboard, and then only Yayo and Murda come back. I guess Ja didn't want to come back because the passenger said that it didn't feel like Ja was escorted off the plane. Ja could have came back if he wanted to, but according to this passenger, it felt like he just chose not to. And then Yayo and Murda just continue to heckle Ja with the passengers around them, even though Ja is now completely off the plane. It's also worth noting that 50 Cent also posted a video of Yayo talking with the other passengers after the altercation. I don't think that Yayo, 50, G-Unit, none of those guys is gonna ever mess with Ja Rule, and it's just hilarious. Even at Unc age, they still having these like hilarious public trolling moments with Ja Rule. Like, obviously Ja had something to say on Twitter as well, kind of corroborating what the passengers said.
Now, here's the real key to understanding the psychology of this standoff. You have to look at the setting. We're talking about Delta First Class, the place where people pay for peace and quiet. But when the unit is in the building, the only thing you're getting is a front row seat to a legacy beef. According to the breakdown, Ja Rule didn't just sit there and take the heckling. He reached for the only weapon available in a high security cabin, those nice plush Delta First pillows. Ja strikes first. Let that sink in. In his mind, he's making a move, throwing the first strike to show he isn't rattled. He whips that pillow back and launches it, trying to turn a street war into a playground prank. But in the rap game, a strike is a strike. The second that pillow left his hand, the energy shifted. All three of them, Yayo, Murda, and Ja, stood up ready to turn that narrow aisle into a boxing ring. That's when the chess move logic of the airline industry kicked in. The flight attendant stepped in, calling for a total reset, and ordered all three of them off the plane. But this is where the optics get devastating for Murder Inc. They deboarded, the cabin went quiet, and then only Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda walked back through that door. Shout out to the passengers on that flight because they saw the move for what it really was. One witness noted that it didn't feel like Ja was escorted off. It felt like he chose not to come back. And in the world of G-Unit, that's a forfeit. Ja could have reclaimed his seat. He could have stood his ground in first class, but according to the reports, he just vanished into the terminal. Meanwhile, Yayo and Murda are back in their seats, heckling Ja to a crowd of confused travelers who just wanted to get to their destination. 50 Cent, being the master of the digital war, didn't waste a second. He posted the footage of Yayo holding court with the passengers, turning a high-altitude confrontation into a viral victory lap. It's hilarious, but it's also cold. Even at this stage in the game, the unit is showing that they will out-troll, outlast, and outmaneuver Ja Rule on any platform, even at 30,000 feet. Ja is on Twitter trying to corroborate the story, trying to claim he was the aggressor, but the passenger receipts say something different. It's a sucker-ass move that's going to live in the history books as the most expensive pillow fight in hip-hop history.
This is where the internet goes crazy. After the interaction, Ja Rule gets up, grabs his bags, and leaves the plane.
Ja Rule see this.
The pillow Ja Rule threw out so fast.
This way he was sitting before we got him out of here.
Now people are saying he's scared and he ducked the smoke. Ja Rule said, nah, not at 30,000 feet. Others are saying, yo, he's smart. Ain't nobody catching a federal case on Delta Airlines. So why is this even a story? Let's keep it a buck. This ain't random. This is 20 plus years of beef. We talking early 2000s, Murda Inc. versus G Unit, back when diss tracks were getting people jumped. Tony Yayo is day one G Unit. Uncle Murda is basically the designated crash out narrator for 50. And Ja Rule, well, history already cooked that man in hip hop conversations. Now, you know this wouldn't even be a story if 50 Cent wasn't in it. And of course, you know 50 Cent was not gonna sit this one out. 50 hops on Instagram, reposts the clip, adds his usual 50 energy, basically letting the internet do what it does best. Cook Ja Rule.
Now, this is where the internet goes from curious to absolutely chaotic. The second Ja Rule grabbed his bags and walked off that plane, he wasn't just exiting a cabin, he was walking straight into a digital ambush. Within minutes, the memes were drafted and the nickname Pillow Ja was born. Let's keep it a buck. As soon as the footage hit the timeline, the world split into two camps. Half the internet is screaming that Ja is scared, that he ducked the smoke the second the unit stood up in that aisle. Ja's defense was quick. Nah, not at 30,000 feet. And from a chess move logic perspective, he's right. Nobody with a bank account wants to catch a federal case on Delta Airlines over a grudge from 2002. But in the court of public opinion, smart often looks like scared. You have to understand the players involved here to see why this hits so hard. This isn't just a random run-in with some rappers. You've got Tony Yayo, the day one G Unit loyalist who lived through the realest parts of this war. And then you've got Uncle Murda, who has basically become the designated crash-out narrator for 50 and the team. When those two are heckling you, they aren't just talking. They're performing for a history that has already cooked Ja Rule in hip-hop conversations for the last 2 decades. But the real truth bomb? This wouldn't even be a story if 50 Cent wasn't the one holding the megaphone. You knew he wasn't going to sit this one out. 50 did exactly what he does best. He hopped on Instagram, reposted the clip, and added that signature 50 energy. He didn't even need to be on the flight to win the battle. By letting the internet do what it does best, cook Ja Rule, 50 proved once again that he doesn't just fight his rivals. He turns their life into a 24-hour reality show. While Ja is talking about safety and hilarious pranks, 50 is making sure the world remembers one thing. When G Unit is in the air, Ja Rule finds a way to land.
Ja Rule has been saying his piece about 50 Cent. All right, let's see what he said. He said, "You a rat, always have been, always be a rat. Used car salesman, suit wearing, field goal nose having, Herman monster head ass nigga. Nigga always telling on somebody, old dry snitch ass nigga, shut your ass up." He continues to say this. Let's be real, that nigga don't give a about the victims. We all know why he did it, doc. Herman's a cancer to the culture. If you care so much, then donate the profits to charities for domestic violence. This person says, I am on 50 Cent's side on this one. There are some animals that deserve to be snitched on out here. Some things can't be just swept under the rug. Ja Rule says, I'm not condoning Diddy's behavior. I'm showcasing Herman's character. So he says Herman's no different, allegedly. Then he posts this right here saying, 50 Cent, named Curtis, has been involved in at least one well-documented domestic violence incident. In June 2013, he was accused of kicking his ex-girlfriend and the mother of his son, model Daphne Joy, also known as Daphne Narvaez, in the stomach during an argument at her Los Angeles condominium, as well as destroying approximately $71,000 worth of her property, including furniture, a chandelier, and a television. The altercation reportedly stemmed from suspicions of infidelity. Los Angeles authorities charged him with one misdemeanor count of domestic violence and 4 counts of misdemeanor vandalism. Jackson pleaded not guilty initially, but later reached a plea deal in October 2013, pleading no contest to 1 count of vandalism. The domestic violence charge and 3 vandalism counts were dropped as part of the agreement. He was sentenced to 3 years of probation, 30 days of community service, 52 weeks of domestic violence counseling, a $7,100 restitution payment to Joy, $23.90 in fines, and a restraining order requiring him to stay away from her. So Jackson denied the domestic violence allegations at the time, through his attorney stating he had not been arrested and there was no warrant for his arrest. In 2024, amid his production of a Netflix docuseries on Sean Diddy Combs' legal issues, Joy publicly accused Jackson of raping and physically abusing her over the years, referencing the 2013 incident as a part of a pattern, though no new charges resulted from these claims. Once again, this is Ja Rule that's sharing this information. Let's keep this thing pushing. So he said it's cool when he do it, it's a problem when I do it. Gotta hear Herman, an abuser too. This person says, thank you, Ja. He was also accused of tatted up Holly. He puts the looks right here. So he continues, says, let's not have selective outrage when it comes to domestic abuse. Thank you. He says another one, allegedly people starving for attention also die from starvation. Rule person puts this right here. Ja Rule retweets it. It says 50 Cent's Long Island home burns down. The mother of 50 Cent's child accused the rapper of trying to burn them to death after a suspicious fire ripped through their Long Island home early today. She says he tried to kill me and his own child, says Shaniqua Tompkins, 31, who miraculously survived the suspicious 4 a.m. blaze, which leveled the $2.4 million mansion in Tony Dix Hills, where she lives with the rapper's 10-year-old son Marquise and 4 relatives. The blaze erupted after Tompkins and 50 Cent, whose real name is Curtis Jackson, got into a violent dispute Monday during a deposition in a $50 million lawsuit she is bringing against him. Who I think did it? Curtis Jackson, Tompkins told the Post. He threatened me on Monday that he was going to have someone visit me. My kids are in the house. Who would try to kill your own kids?
When a man like Ja Rule is backed into a corner, when the internet is laughing and the pillow jaw memes are flying, he only has one move left, the nuclear option. Ja didn't just stay quiet after that flight. He went straight into the archives to pull the ultimate chess move. If 50 Cent wants to use a documentary to expose Diddy's character, Ja decided to use the timeline to expose 50's. Let's be real. Ja came out swinging, calling 50 a rat, a dry snitch, and the now infamous nickname Herman Munster head ass. But this isn't just playground name calling. Ja is trying to dismantle the moral high ground 50 has been standing on. He's calling 50 a cancer to the culture, claiming that the Diddy documentary isn't about justice, it's about profit and deflection. Ja started dropping the truth bombs with specific, well-documented receipts. He brought up 2013, the year Curtis Jackson was charged with domestic violence involving Daphne Joy. We're talking about allegations of physical abuse and $71,000 in destroyed property. Jay is pointing to the October 2013 plea deal, the 3 years of probation, and the domestic violence counseling, as proof that the man leading the charge against Diddy has his own dark patterns. To Ja, this is a case of selective outrage. He's asking the culture, why is it a problem when Diddy does it, but Herman gets a pass? But Ja didn't stop there. He went even deeper into the trauma, digging up the 2008 Long Island house fire. He's reposting the words of Shaniqua Tompkins, the mother of 50's oldest son, who stood in front of the ashes of a $2.4 million mansion and accused 50 of trying to kill her and his own child. Who would try to kill your own kids? That is a heavy, soul-crushing question designed to make the world look at 50 Cent and see a monster instead of a mogul. This is the chess move logic of a legacy feud. Ja Rule knows he can't win the pillow fight narrative. That ship has sailed. So he's shifting the battlefield to a place where there are no winners. He's using 50's own tactic, weaponizing the paperwork. He's trying to show that the person pointing the finger is the same one who once had his own home leveled by a suspicious blaze. In Ja's eyes, 50 isn't a hero. He's an abuser with a Netflix budget. It's a war of reputation, where the armor is made of legal documents and the bullets are made of old headlines.
As Ja Rule on the plane. Suck ass up, you fucking sucker.
Federal regulations prohibit the use of cellular networks during flight, the use of Wi-Fi to make video or voice calls.
This Ja Rule.
Stow your tray table and carry on items.
This is his
Ensure all armrests are in the resting position.
In the world of the streets, there are words that act as blunt instruments. They aren't meant to be clever. They are meant to be heavy. When Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda started chanting, "Suck a ass up, you fucking suck," they weren't just heckling a passenger. They were performing an exorcism on Ja Rule's remaining credibility. Let that sink in. You're sitting in first class, the pinnacle of commercial travel, and you have the talk of New York and the designated crash out standing over you, repeating a mantra of pure disrespect. This is the chess move logic of psychological warfare. G-Unit knows that at 30,000 feet, they can't throw hands without the feds waiting at the gate. But they also know that a verbal beatdown in a pressurized cabin is a viral hit waiting to happen. The repetition is the point. You fucking suck. Suck ass up. It's a rhythmic reminder of the early 2000s, a legacy of disrespect that has followed Murder Inc. like a shadow. For Yayo and Murda, this wasn't about a new argument. It was about finishing an old conversation. They were forcing Ja to hear what the streets had been saying for 2 decades, right in the middle of a luxury flight. For the other passengers, it was a moment of confusion. For the fans watching the clips later, it was a comedy special. But for Ja Rule, it was a trap. If he fights, he goes to federal prison. If he sits there, he looks like a sucker. If he leaves, he looks like he's running. By keeping the heckling loud and constant, the unit controlled the room. They turned that aisle into a stage where Ja Rule was the only one without a script. It's the rawest form of G-Unit energy, loud, relentless, and completely unapologetic. They didn't need to win a pillow fight. They just needed to make sure that for the duration of that flight, the only thing Ja Rule could hear was the sound of his own downfall.
Supposedly, they made Ja Rule get off the plane after he threw a pillow at Tony Yayo.
Yeah, Ja Rule see
The pillow Ja Rule threw at him so fast.
this way he was sitting before we got him out of here.
Uncle Murda posted a clip to his Instagram and wrote the caption, "Ja got off the plane, LOL, and I took you."
Imagine boarding a flight, trying to find your route, storing your carry-on, and you look up to see the universe is officially trolling you. Because sitting right there in the cabin are Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda, looking dead at Ja Rule. This might be the most unexpected hip-hop link-up of the decade, but if you know the history, you know this wasn't a link-up. Wait a minute, it was a collision. Let's keep it a buck. This is Batman and the Joker sharing a lift. We're talking about the early 2000s G-Unit versus Murder Inc. war. Radio takeovers, street tension, and careers that were literally reshaped by the heat. This is the type of beef where, back in 2003, saying the wrong name in a club would get the DJ booth cleared. So, seeing these three in the same pressurized tube, that's unresolved rap history sitting in first class with no private jet, no velvet rope, and no security wall to keep the peace. According to Yayo, it took them a second to realize who they were looking at. No mask, no disguise, just Ja. And here is the chess move logic of the whole ordeal. In that environment, you can't crash out, so you play the mental game. They traded names, they threw low-key shade, and then came the pillow strike. Supposedly, after Ja launched that Delta pillow at Yayo, the flight crew made the call. They got Ja out of there before the plane even pushed back. But the final blow didn't happen in the aisle. It happened on Instagram. Uncle Murda posted the clip with a caption that acted as the ultimate knockout punch. Ja got off the plane, LOL, and I took his seat. That right there is the definition of a G-Unit victory. It's not just about winning the argument. It's about taking the territory. Ja Rule left the plane to protect his record, but in doing so, he gave up his seat to the very man who was heckling him. In this game, optics are everything, and the final image we're left with is the unit sitting comfortably in first class while Ja is back in the terminal, tweeting about what almost happened. It's a 20-year-old war that just found a new battlefield at 30,000 feet. And once again, the unit proved they aren't just playing the game, they're owning the seats.